Good morning to all of you. Today's topic for nervous system is the remaining half of ascending tracts. In the last lecture, we have seen the one of the components of the ascending tracts, that is a dorsal column pathway. Okay. So before starting, just we revise the previous lectures. In the first lecture, we have seen what are the classification of the nervous system, what are the cells present in the nervous system, what is synapse, types of synapse, its classification, properties of synapse, then receptor and its properties, what are the different neurotransmitters. And in the last lecture, we have seen what are the different components of the sensory cortex present in the parietal lobe, mainly in the parietal lobe. And in ascending tracts, we have seen what are the types of ascending tracts. In that, we have covered the dorsal column pathway. Okay. So now the second type of ascending tracts is called as spinothalamic tracts. So you know that what are the different headings or the different points under which we have to write the information of ascending tracts. That is first order neuron, second order neuron, and third order neuron. Okay. So in the today's lecture, we are going to, you may have a long answer question on this. Define ascending tract or enumerate the ascending tracts and write down in detail about the spinothalamic tract. Okay. So just revise this. This is a somatosensory cortex, area number 312, parietal lobe. Okay. Primary somatosensory cortex, where area number 57, these are the supplementary somatosensory area. Now, before starting the spinothalamic tract, anterolateral spinothalamic tract, you should know what are the different lamina present in the gray matter. We have already learned this in the introduction to nervous system. We just revise this lamina 1, this is the posterior half, this is the anterior half. Okay, so lamina 1, lamina 2, lamina 3, lamina 4, lamina 5. Okay, so these are the mainly important for the spinothalamic tract. So you just remember this lamina. Okay, on both sides, lamina 1, 2, 3, lamina 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, same thing, lamina 1 called as lamina marginalis, lamina 2 and 3 and 4. That is a substantia gelatinosa and nucleus propriosus. Okay, so these are the lamina present in the gray matter. As I have discussed, you have to write ascending tracts. You should know the ascending tracts in the three headings, under the three headings, that is first order neuron, second order neuron, and the third order neuron. As in the dorsal column pathway, you know that the first order neurons start from the receptors like touch sensation receptor. Okay, then proprioceptor receptor. So this from this receptor they enter into the dorsal in the spinal cord via the dorsal root. Okay, and then it terminates over the second order neuron. In case of dorsal column pathway, second order neuron is present in the group of nucleus of medulla. Okay, that is fasciculus gracilis and fasciculus cuneatus. Okay, while in case of anterolateral spinothalamic tract, there's a one major difference is that second order neuron is start from the in the spinal cord only. Okay, I will describe this, but you just remember that the in case of dorsal column pathway, second order neuron starts from the medulla, nucleus of medulla, that is fasciculus gracilis and fasciculus cuneatus, while in case of anterolateral spinothalamic tract, the second order neuron start from the spinal cord itself. Okay, while third order neuron in case of dorsal column pathway, they are directly terminate from the thalamus to the sensory cortex. Okay, while here the in anterolateral spinothalamic tract, the second order neuron or third order neuron start from that thalamus nucleus to the a different group of reticular nuclei or thalamus nuclei to the sensory cortex. There is some differences between the. I will describe this in the anterolateral spinothalamic tract. So this diagram we already learned in the previous lecture. This is about dorsal column pathway, first order neuron, second order neuron, and the third order neuron. Okay, first order neuron from the receptor to the dorsal root ganglion, then from this to the medulla, this is second order neuron, and from medulla to the medulla. In the medulla, they cross immediately. Okay, in the dorsal column pathway, and then enter into the somatosensory cortex area. That is third order neuron. Okay, while here in case of anterolateral spinothalamic tract, if you see that from the receptor, this is a dorsal root ganglion, this is the first order neuron. From here only, in the spinal cord only, they will cross immediately to the opposite side. Okay, that means crossing is take place in the spinal cord, not in the medulla. In case of anterolateral spinothalamic tract. Okay, crude touch sensation, then pain temperature sensation. Okay, so that we are going to see in the today's lecture. That is, what are the different first order neuron, second order neuron, third order neuron. Okay, now why it is called as anterior? That is anterior, they mainly deal with the crude touch sensation, while the lateral spinothalamic tract, they are mainly deal with the pain and temperature sensation. They are present anteriorly to, and the lateral spinothalamic tract is on the lateral side. That's why it is called as lateral spinothalamic tract and anterior or ventral spinothalamic tract. Okay. So these are the two spinothalamic tract, lateral spinothalamic tract and anterior spinothalamic tract. They are mainly arising from the different groups of nerve fibers that are nothing but the A delta, that is small myelinated fiber, while type C fiber, that is called as unmyelinated fibers. Okay. They carries pain and temperature, that is two types of pain sensation, that is fast and slow, like pin prick. Okay, that is fast sensation. Then crude touch sensation, thermal sensation, itch, and tickle sensation. So these are the different sensation which carries by the anterolateral spinothalamic tract. Okay. Now first we will see pain pathway or fast and slow pain. There are two types of pain. These are also called as neospinothalamic tract. Okay, fast pain, while slow pain it is called as paleospinothalamic tract. Okay. So in both fast and slow pain, the first order neurons start from the receptor. Okay, that is free nerve ending. If you remember the lectures of receptor, the free nerve ending, they carry the pain sensation. Okay, free nerve ending. So the receptor or the first order neurons start from the peripheral nerve, that is nothing but the free nerve ending receptors of the pain. Okay, and then enter into the dorsal root of the spinal cord, and fibers carrying A delta fiber, they carry the fast pain, while type C fiber, they carry the slow pain. Okay, while A delta fiber, they synapse in the lamina 1. Just now I have shown you the diagram of the lamina. The A delta fiber, they synapse in the lamina 1, while slow pain type C fiber is synapse in the lamina 2 and 3. Okay, and then they enter into the lamina 5 of the dorsal horn. Okay, so just remember fast pain lamina 1, while slow pain lamina 2 and 3. Okay, then from here the dorsal horn cell form the second order neuron, and they cross immediately. They cross immediately to the opposite side in the spinal cord, and they are placed laterally, and that's what is called as lateral spinothalamic tract. Okay, while for the second order neuron, the fibers terminate in the reticular group of nuclei, which are present in the brainstem, that is midbrain, pons, and medulla. And most of the fibers, they will terminate in the ventro-posterolateral group of nucleus of the thalamus. Okay, so this is about second order neuron. So understood the difference between the dorsal column pathway and this lateral spinothalamic, anterolateral spinothalamic tract. The second order neuron, in case of dorsal column pathway, they start from the nucleus of the medulla, while here the second order neuron, they start from the dorsal in the spinal cord only. Okay, that is a lamina 1, lamina 2, lamina 3. From here they cross immediately to the opposite side of the spinal cord, and then opposite of the spinal cord, and then travels to the up to the reticular group of nuclei and the ventroposterolateral group of nucleus of the thalamus. Okay, so second order neuron, about the fast pain. The second order neuron terminate in the ventroposterolateral nucleus of the thalamus, brainstem nuclei, and from here, in case of fast pain, they terminate in the somatosensory cortex, that is called as third order neuron. Okay, so reticular group of nuclei, then nucleus of the thalamus, and then to the somatosensory cortex. This is about the fast pain. Now, what is about the slow pain pathway? The first up to the first order neuron and the second order neuron is same. Only difference is that in the case of slow pain pathway, the majority of second order neuron, the fibers which are coming from the lamina 2 and 3, they terminate, or the majority is in the brainstem nuclei, that is a reticular group of nuclei, superior colliculus nuclei, and the periaqueductal gray matter. Okay, or periaqueductal gray nucleus. Okay, and from fibers of the reticular formation, they also terminate in the intralaminar posterior nucleus of thalamus and hypothalamus. Okay, so these are the major difference between the fast fast pain and the slow pain. So you also draw the diagram. This is the first order neuron. Now in this diagram, they are shown both the anterior spinal thalamic tract, which carry the crude touch and crude pressure sensation, while the lateral spinal thalamic tract, they carry the temperature and pain sensation. So first order neuron is from the receptor to the dorsal root ganglion, from the lamina 1 to 3, cross immediately to the opposite side of the spinal cord. The fibers which are present anteriorly, that is called as anterior spinal thalamic tract. The fibers which are present laterally, they are called as lateral spinal thalamic tract. Okay. While anterior spinal thalamic tract carry the crude touch and pressure sensation, while lateral spinal thalamic tract carry the temperature and pain sensation. From this is the second order neuron, and second order neuron terminate in the, while fast pain pathway, they terminate in the some reticular group of nuclei and the thalamus nuclei, and then from here they enter into the somatosensory cortex. Okay. While slow pathway, they are mainly in the reticular group of nuclei, then hypothalamus, preaccumulated gray nuclei. These are the lateral spinal thalamic tract. Okay. Again, same with different diagram, temperature sensation, pain sensation. Okay. And then you can see that all fibers, they are getting crossed in the spinal cord. All that is the anterolateral spinal thalamic tract, and then they enter into the thalamus, reticular group of nuclei, thalamus, hypothalamus. Okay. And then to the somatosensory cortex. Again, same. Dorsal root ganglion, cross, dorsal root ganglion, cross. From here only second order neuron start, and then enter into the reticular group of nuclei or thalamus or ventrobasal interlaminar nuclei of thalamus. Okay. So what is the role of somatosensory cortex in case of pain pathway, in case of pain and temperature sensation? As you can see that in the dorsal column pathway, we have seen the different the processing take place in the supplementary somatosensory area. Recognition of that particular sensation take place in the primary somatosensory cortex. Okay. But what is the role of somatosensory cortex in case of pain and temperature sensation? The role is not entirely clear, but they have found out that the role of somatosensory cortex mainly deal with the quality of the recognizing or quality of pain, or to determine its precise location. Okay. While the fibers which are enter into the reticular group of nuclei, that is midbrain, pons, and medulla, they are mainly explain why individuals with chronic pain have difficulty in sleeping, because the continuous supply of the reticular activation of that reticular group of nuclei, they activate the reticular activating system. Okay, and that's why in case of individual with chronic pain have difficulty in sleeping. So this is about the fast pain and slow pain pathway. Now about the thermal sensation, they found out that there are 3 types of receptor which get activated because of thermal sensation. One is called as pain receptor, then second is specific warmth receptor, and third is cold receptor. Now this receptor get activated in different degrees of temperature, different degrees Celsius of temperature. Okay. For example, this pain receptor get activated when the temperature is more than 50 or less than 7. That is severe cold or severe warm. That is more than 50 degrees Celsius temperature. At that time, the pain receptor get activated. Okay. While specific to the warm receptor, that means they get stimulated some heat. Okay. So that receptor mainly activated at a degree of 45 degrees Celsius. Okay. While the cold receptor, they get mainly activated at our peak signals from the receptor get enter into the CNS in the at the range of 24 degrees Celsius temperature. Okay. While the warm receptor 45 degrees Celsius. So, but both warm and cold receptor in the range of 31 to 43 degrees Celsius, they can be activated. Okay. And this pathway, that is thermal signals arising from these 3 kind of receptor: pain receptor, specific warm receptor, and cold receptor. They get activated and then enter into the cross immediately to the spinal cord, and then along with the pain pathway, they are present in the, they goes in the thalamus and then to the somatosensory cortex area. Okay. About the cold receptor, the A delta fiber, the cold receptors are mainly more as compared to the warm receptor, around 3 to 10 times than the warm receptor. Density of the cold receptor are more in the lips area as compared to the finger area. About the applied, what happens if there is a damage to the anterolateral system? As you know that major difference in the dorsocolumn pathway and the anterolateral pathway is that crossing. Okay, dorsocolumn pathway crossing at the takes place at the medulla, while anterolateral spinothalamic tract crossing take place in the spinal cord only. Okay, so when there is a damage to that particular spinal cord level, it will there is a loss of sensation, pain, temperature sensation on the opposite side of the body. Suppose you can see that suppose there is a damage to in the cervical vertebra. Okay, right side of cervical vertebra. So what happened in that case? There is a ipsilateral loss of sensation. That is the right side. Okay, so that is called as ipsilateral, same side. If there is a damage to the right side of the cervical vertebra, right half of the cervical vertebra. Okay, while there is opposite, that is contralateral loss of pain and temperature sensation. Now, why this take place? Because of crossing take place. Sensation of this left side cross immediately to the, that is pain temperature sensation. They cross immediately to the towards the right side, and that's why if there's a damage to the right side half of the cervical vertebra, there is a loss of pain and temperature sensation over the left side, while there's a loss of pain, fine touch, proprioception, then stereognosis, vibration sensation. That is a sensation which carried by the dorsal column pathway. Loss on the same side. Okay, that is called ipsilateral loss of tactile sensation. Now, why this happen? Because of crossing. Because right-sided sensation of fine touch, then stereognosis, vibration, two-point discrimination, localization. The sensation from this right side area carry toward the up to the medulla, and then in the medulla they crossing take place. Okay, and that's why if there is a damage on the right side half of the cervical vertebra, there is a loss of sensation of the same side, ipsilateral side. Okay, while pain temperature sensation, they cross immediately in the same vertebral level, and that's why right half of cervical vertebra, they carry the fibers of pain and temperature, they are nothing but the opposite side. That is called as contralateral loss of pain and temperature sensation. Okay, so you may have question in the viva, why there is a loss of pain and temperature sensation of opposite side of body. You should know that the crossing takes place in the spinal cord, while dorsal column pathway crossing takes place in the medulla. Some clinical terminology. Anesthesia means complete loss of all forms of sensation. That means pain, temperature, fine touch, crude touch, all types of sensation loss is there. That is called as anesthesia. Dissociated anesthesia, that is a loss of pain and temperature sensation only. They are mainly because of the tumor which are present in the central canal of the spinal cord or intramedullary tumors. Okay, why? Because in the canal there the crossing takes place. That's why there's only loss of pain and temperature sensation. Okay. Stereognosis, inability to identify the objects by using touch sensation. That is called as stereognosis. Okay, while ability to find out the different objects, familiar objects, with the help of touch sensation, that is called as stereognosis. Okay. Then Rombox signs. Again, I will describe this in the practical hours also. What is Rombox sign? Due to loss of proprioceptive, that is sensory receptor over the sole area, or damage to the dorsal column pathway, the patient is unable to feel the ground with the sole. Okay, because of loss of proprioception. Okay. Now you may have a short answer question on this. Differentiate between the dorsal column pathway and the anterolateral pathway. Okay. The first is function. That is dorsal column pathway carry the fine touch sensation, crude, the vibration sensation, the proprioception sensation, while anterolateral pathway they carry the crude touch, pressure, pain, temperature, each and tickle sensation. Okay. Velocity of impulse in case of dorsal column pathway is very high, while it is 1/3 of dorsal column pathway in case of anterolateral pathway. Spatial organization, and that's why this dorsal column pathway is very important to localize and to for the 2-point discrimination sensation. I will describe in the practical hours what is meant by 2-point discrimination. It is nothing but the ability to find out the 2 point as a separate with the help of one instrument that we are going to see in the applied part also, 2-point discrimination. While here, anterolateral pathway, there is poor spatial organization. The majority of the pathway or dorsal path, third order neuron, they terminate in the ventrobasal complex, or the third order neuron start from the ventrobasal complex of the thalamus and then to the sensory cortex. While here, anterolateral pathway, the fast pain, they are mainly reticular nuclei and the ventrobasal complex of the nuclei and then to the sensory cortex. While slow pain pathway, they are mainly reticular group of nuclei, thalamus, then hypothalamus, periaqueductal matter, gray matter. Okay. So this is about the anterolateral pathway. What are the different tests to check the sensory system? Now in the practical hours, again, we have separate practical. How to check the sensory system if the patient is complaining of loss of sensation or tingling numbness. So how to check whether the patient having a normal sensory system or not? For that purpose, we have separate practical. You just remember the name of this test. We are going to repeat this in the practical hours. How to test the tactile sensation. There are 2 points on tactile sensation. One is tactile localization and tactile discrimination. But before starting this, you just remember that for checking the sensory system, you should ask the subject to close the, first you explain the procedure and then ask the subject to close the eyes. Okay. And then we check the sensory system. For tactile sensation, we have tactile localization and tactile discrimination.